Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated the Cairo International Book Fair in its Golden Jubilee. Well, 50 years have passed on the inauguration of the Cairo International Book Fair. Successful rounds have passed 50 years ago. Well, this fair starts from the 23rd of January until the 5th of February 2019, and around or more than 1,273 Egyptian foreign publishers are participating or taking place in this fair. The Arab League is the guest of honor in this round, and the former Minister of Culture, Dr. Sarwat Okasha, who had inaugurated the first session of the book fair, and also the then chairman of the General Book Authority, Dr. Suhair Al-Qalamawi, were chosen as the year's figure for this year's fair. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to host today Dr. Bahauddin Zaki, the member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs. Welcome, Dr. Zaki.
Hello, how are you? Thank you.
I have the pleasure to host you today. As we saw today in the morning, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated the Cairo International Book Fair in its Golden Jubilee. The presidential spokesman, Ambassador Bassam Radi, said that the participation or the inauguration by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi shows how the state is keen on boosting or caring for the cultural movement in Egypt. So how do you see this?
Well, I mean, of course, 50 years is something to celebrate in itself. It's a very special occasion. In the past, the book fair was a podium through which we expose our own yearly publications, new publications, host Arab and international publishers, and also an opportunity for the president to meet with the leaders of the think leaders of Egypt. So it's a very important event for the civil society of Egypt.
Yes, yes. So 50 years of success for this annual fair. What does this say about the book fair in Cairo?
Well, it means that Egypt is committed as a government, committed to promoting the civil society and the main means of sharing of thinking and thought, which are the books.
Yes. So this is the largest and the oldest and actually one of the very important events in Arabic publishing world. So how do you see the importance of Egypt hosting this annual fair?
I think that the Arab world in general and Egypt specifically requires or is called upon to honor the writers, the thought leaders of this country, to allow it to strengthen its civil society away from the restrictions or the less powerful thoughts of certain directions which could be less beneficial to the overall society of Egypt.
Yes, sir. So, Dr. Zaki, how do you see also choosing the year figures of this fair, who are Dr. Sarwat Okasha, the former cultural minister, and also Dr. Suhair Al-Qalamawi, and Dr. Sarwat Okasha was the first who inaugurated this fair?
Yes, Dr. Sarwat Okasha was a part of the people who were involved in the 1952 military action against the former regime. And he has been one of the more committed members on cultural affairs. He was a minister of culture at a time when there was less stress on this aspect at his time.
Yes.
Suhair al-Qalamawi is one of the great leaders of the Egyptian civil society, and we all feel that her honoring is an honoring for the Egyptian civil society as a whole.
Yes, yes. Also, the guest of honor is the Arab League. How do you see this?
Well, I mean, that is a very thoughtful invitation, because the Arab League represents the Arab world, and the Arab world is, the heart of the Arab world is here in Cairo, in Egypt, and that's a proper place for it to also celebrate this very special event of 50 years of commitment to cultural development and thought leaders.
Yes. Dr. Zaki, yesterday the Dr. Ines Abdeldaim, Minister of Culture, said in statements that what is new about this year's round of the book fair is choosing the location or the place of the book fair, and also she said that on the sidelines of this fair there would be special activities for children, and especially children with special needs. And let me add that the year 2018, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has allocated 2018 to be the year of people with disabilities. How do you see the statements of Dr. Ines Abdeldaim?
I think that it is something that pleases me a lot, to see the continuous commitment to people with disabilities, because the society as a whole has a commitment to always feel their presence, and a commitment of including them. And this is not the first time that President Sisi has done it, and it's a continuous commitment towards the less privileged, and I think that's something which is very heartening. I think also that the choice of the new places provides a much bigger forum, a much bigger venue to allow for more interaction, and to allow for the biggest ever book fair in its 50 years history. Yes. So Cairo has many facets. This is a new Cairo. This is a bigger Cairo that they have went to this year, and I think it's quite an encompassing and imposing forum or venue to choose.
Yes. So, Dr. Zaki, what else do you feel is new about this year's round, away from the place and the sideline activities?
I think that what is, of course, the golden anniversary itself is something very special. It represents not only what is being accomplished during the year, but it's almost like a continuous video-like exposition of a 50 years. So it's a sort of an extended occasion to look and evaluate in the past and see how Egypt needs to regain its rightful position in the area of culture, not only within Egypt, but also at a more general Arab, among the Arab world. And I think that meeting with the thought leaders is a political commitment to hearing their views, and I hope also that this commitment will continue during the whole year by allowing them public space to express and interact with the wider population.
Yes. So around 2 million visitors each year visit the fair. So how does this event contribute to the enriching the cultural life in Egypt?
2 million visitors is a significant number of visitors by any international standard, but they are still representing 2% of Egypt, and Egypt is beyond the 2%. So, but those interacting, also there is a chain event where they further interact with others and spread what they have seen. And I really emphasize the importance of having a lot of those thought leaders, giving them access to the public forum to interact with Egypt as they should interact, and to create a debate on how we would like to see our country, not only during 1 or 2 years, but within a span of 10 and 15 years to come.
Yes. Dr. Zaki, in the year 2006, the Cairo International Book Fair became the second after the Frankfurt Book Fair. That was, which means that the Cairo International Book Fair is one of the very important book fairs around the world. So
I'm very impressed with this piece of information, which I did not know, but I'm very happy to hear that we are that we have this standing among international book fairs. But definitely among Arab countries, we continue to be thought leaders. Egypt has always been capable of producing more and more of the thought leaders that have on occasion interacted with the whole world, not just within our Arab culture.
Yes. So, Dr. Zaki, what are the criteria by which we can evaluate or say that this is a successful book fair? Is it by with the number of books or the number of publishers, or what are the qualifications?
I mean, at the very end of the day, one of the most important criteria is the number of readers of books. And this is a criteria.
The readers, not the visitors.
Visitors is one criteria, but ultimately what we really want to achieve through the visitors is to promote the readership of the various cultural product produced and shown in the book fair.
Yes.
Therefore, and this is really the ultimate testimony of how successful the book fair was. So it's an occasion to show what we have, and hopefully to have more and more readership for our cultural products.
Yes.
This is the ultimate fair, but visitors is one more reachable or more certain criteria, because you see how many visitors and you know immediately. The number of publishers is very important. The number of international publishers is equally important, because they are the testimony for the internationality of the fair. So I think that all those criteria are very, very important. Government commitment to the fair is also interesting. The debates that happen during the fair, cultural debates are also very important.
The sideline seminars?
Exactly.
Yes.
All
That's
the
very
activities.
important,
Absolutely.
because I can see that some people in Egypt are not that fond of reading books, but I can see that when I attend the book fair in Cairo every year, and several years ago I was covering it in Nile TV, I can see that the all the Egyptians are keen to attend these seminars, to hear, you know, seminars for poets, Egyptian poets and Arab poets, and also writers.
I think you are absolutely right. You touch on a sensitive issue. The Arab culture is an oral culture,
Yes,
not a written
that's
culture.
what I would like
Yes,
to say.
this
You
is
expressed what I feel.
yeah, it's an oral culture more than a written culture.
Yes.
But a commitment to readership, not just hearing and believing, but also reading, allows you more depth, and this is something that we really want to promote.
Yes.
In the past administration, when, for example, Mrs. Mubarak was emphasizing libraries and so forth, this was an aspect that sometimes people didn't take very seriously and thought it was a little bit elitist. But in my opinion, it was a very appreciative attempt to spread the culture of reading within a broader population. And I hope that we continue to be committed to libraries, not only public libraries, but libraries in schools, and to encourage students to do the research within the libraries. And it is very, very important to see readership expand, especially because our culture is predisposed to be an oral culture, not a written culture, and we really need to work on changing that.
Yes. Dr. Zaki, also Dr. Ines Abdeldaim, the Minister of Culture, said that there would be an online site that would have daily news and updates concerning the fair. So?
Well, this is, of course, a very important aspect of the fair, because as I mentioned, if we have 2 million visitors, this represents 2% of the Egyptian population. But it is the role of the public media to expand on interaction of this fair among the broader population.
So do you think, Dr. Zaki, now organizing such a big cultural event, which is the Cairo International Book Fair by the Ministry of Culture, is now, you know, different completely from organizing it the past years, because now we have to cope with new things, like we have to make an online site.
Yes, of course. I mean, we have to develop with the world.
Yes.
I mean, now, for example, a lot of the publications, more and more publications are being e-read through e-books rather than from physical books. Not only is this good for the environment, but you can have an e-reader which is as big as the palm of your hands, which is carrying a whole library with you, and you can read it while you are on public transport, you can read it while you are at home, you can read it whenever you have the time. So we really need to develop the tools of expanding the concept of publication to encompass electronic publication as well, and to try to broaden it. I know that the Ministry of Education is going in this direction, and definitely the Ministry of Culture is well recognized to do such an attempt as well.
Yes. Dr. Zaki, Egyptians you know, wait every year for this fair, and we see, you know, Egyptian people coming from several governorates to Cairo to attend this book fair. We see the families, the whole family attending the book fair, buying books and attending seminars. So do you think the electronic books could be a threat to ordinary books or not?
No, they are complementary, because I mean, at the very end of the day, it's not it's not the paper that we want to sell. It's the
It's
content.
the idea
It's
or
the
the content.
The content, and the content is much more appropriately distributed electronically, because, as I mentioned, you can have several books, a whole library in a small machine. You can. It's better for the environment. You don't need. You need less paper. It's easier to acquire for the person, because he can easily put in the title that he wants, and he gets it immediately. He doesn't need to look for it.
Yes.
It doesn't run out of print like a lot of the publications. The number of one of the challenges in printing books is that you have to meet a certain minimum number, and people sometimes don't want to publish because they are not so sure that they can sell as many books. So the digital publication is a complementary publication, not a threat, but the natural development that we need to encourage.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, our time is up. I thank you very much, Dr. Bahauddin Zaki, the member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very. That was my pleasure. Thank you very much. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Cairo Local Time. I'm Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.